Ladies and gentlemen, former President Donald Trump, and hopefully he regains the Oval Office. In 24, we had record low poverty with Trump. This is the greatest sin he committed, record low poverty, and he brought home Americans from never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. He provided more funding to historically black colleges and universities than any president ever, made the funding permanent. He did a whole lot of great things, but oh my God, he's a menace to society apparently, and they're going to indict him. The special counsel will, either on obstruction or classified data breach, which is really hilarious because Hillary Clinton actually transferred top secret and special access program intelligence and classified data, according to the Honorable James Comey, from secure government locations onto servers outside the U.S. government. Nobody knew how that was even. It's not even possible from a cybersecurity perspective. If I repeat myself forever on this, and I wrote about this in The Hill, the Huffington Post, Salon, the Federalist, other publications, you cannot transfer top secret intel or special access program intelligence or classified data from the U.S. government onto your cell phone. But Madam Secretary, according to the Honorable James Comey, was able to do that. Okay, no indictment there, no intent apparently to... How do you unintentionally own secret servers? Anyway, this is former President Donald Trump, hopefully future president again. Reports are the... Reports are the Marxist Special Prosecutor, DOJ, and Federal Bureau want to indict me on the boxes hoax, despite all the wrongdoing that they have done for 7 years, including spying on my campaign. Biden crimes go unpunished, including that he had boxes in his garage by the Corvette, 1,850 boxes in Delaware that he won't allow anyone to see. That is obstruction. That is real obstruction. They seek retribution for Republicans looking into Biden's crimes. I have done nothing wrong. Interference, 2024. He's 100% right. They say that Trump is hyperbolic. Yes, at times he is. But there's a lot more truth within Trump's hyperbole than within the average New York Times article. And that's not a hyperbolic statement. That is true. The average New York Times and Washington Post article is written with the vantage point of trying desperately, especially the Times, trying desperately to highlight or to lie by omission and highlight and emphasize anything bad, anything that is that it would be politically bad for Trump at the expense of the truth pertaining to Biden, Democrats, Clinton, and others. Okay, so they lie by omission. It's a lie by omission. When they say, well, Clinton's emails, but her emails, it's a lie by omission. Nobody cares about a private email. If Clinton just had private email, like other politicians, and a government email address where classified data went through the government email address, there would be no problem there. It's not about email. They lie by omission. It's about servers siphoning classified data, which we knew from the Bureau that Clinton did. Now, I think that Hillary will be the 24 nominee. I can't imagine mashed potato brains being the nominee. Anyway, the point is, they're going to try to get him on obstruction, but he didn't obstruct justice. He was working through his attorneys, just like Clinton was, just like Biden is. And so they're going to try to get him on obstruction. They're going to try to get him on owning classified data, but Clinton had classified data on unsecured servers outside the U.S. government as Secretary of State without the ability to declassify anything. Trump had the ability to declassify everything that he had, and he could have done so verbally according to Politico. Now, again, see, what happens is Trump will say something hyperbolic, and then the wonderful, morally superior, highly educated liberal Democrats will react like, oh, Trump said that he can think about declassification. You can't just think. You can't just declassify things in your mind. And it's like, well, read the Politico article. You could actually verbally declassify as president. He's the commander-in-chief. He was the commander-in-chief. He could verbally declassify. Biden could not. His decades as senator and vice president. Well, as senator, he couldn't declassify. And the University of Delaware almost certainly has almost certainly classified data, which shouldn't be anywhere outside the U.S. government. See, again, President Obama's administration made a complete mockery of classified data. Okay? There's not a politician in any country of the world who could have servers outside their own government. Because naturally, that would be a national security risk, and they would be afraid of secrets being sold. Of course, Clinton, no morally superior, highly educated liberal Democrat could ever accuse Madam Secretary of selling secrets. But with Trump, oh yeah. But Trump wasn't the one with private servers. He wasn't the one with a laptop that lists criminal behavior. The issue is that nobody reads. Here's like, if it's not a lie by omission, they just simply are ignorant of anything that is corrupt within their own political party. Their entire lives, if you vote Democrat, your entire life is, well, they're worse than we are. But that's not, if that's your vantage point and you live by that, if you knew a little bit more about politics, you'd realize that's not the case, that the Democratic Party is actually worse. At this point right now, the Republicans were worse 20 years ago. The pendulum has swung towards the political side with virtually all of the media narrative, loyalists in government. They are the authoritarians, totalitarians. The Democrats control the narrative, let's say. The Washington Post, New York Times, MSNBC, CNN, Atlantic, New Yorker, New York Magazine, Vanity Fair, Esquire, Rolling Stone, The Nation, Mother Jones, Daily Beast. Tell me how they differ in their coverage of Trump or any topic under the sun. They say the exact same things. Trump bad, Democrats good, experts we like good, experts we don't like, oh, terrible, should never have been born. Fabricated consensus, coerced consensus, that's obviously the truth. Lie by omission, and then they funnel as much negative emotion towards Trump as possible, but if you distrust Biden, oh my God, you should pray for forgiveness from the morally superior. So they're going to indict Trump because it's politically motivated. You'd have to be a buffoon and an imbecile not to realize that they're just going after Trump because they don't like him. They actually did commit crimes on their end. Joe, Hunter, Hillary, likely others, actually committed crimes. There are actual crimes within that laptop, according to the New York Post reporting. It was a crime to siphon classified data. Again, I think Hillary will be the 24 nominee. I can't imagine her not being the 24 nominee. But they're going to indict Trump. We'll have a live stream that day and all throughout the week. Could be this week, could be next week. They're going to try to say he was indicted twice. They're going to indict him in Georgia 3 times. They'll indict him on Mars 4 times. They'll indict him, on the moon 5 times. He'll be the 17th It'll be the 17th indictment, and the rebuttal will be, you're going to vote for a Republican nominee who was indicted 7,500 times? How could you? And nobody will care. Do you honestly think if you're a wonderful, highly educated, morally superior liberal Democrat, you would have to be a complete imbecile not to even acknowledge this is politically motivated? Okay, even if you think that Trump committed crimes, if you didn't think that Hillary committed crimes, but you think only Trump committed crimes, well, then that says something about you. But the reality is that he didn't commit any crimes. He doesn't have servers. He doesn't have a laptop. What does he have? A former president with the power to declassify had boxes of possibly classified data, possibly data that he had already declassified, that the Federal Bureau of Investigation already knew about. And the National Archives, the Presidential Records Act, doesn't have an enforcement mechanism. So when they say, well, the National Archives asked for it, so what? Do you know who asked for Clinton's servers? The Federal Bureau of Investigation. And she gave them a not-so-subtle message. And they were apparently fine with it. So everyone knows what's going on. One political side has leverage, but they can't stop Trump because the average person on the street knows he didn't commit a crime. This is more for the Democratic base. They talk about Trump's base. Nobody's more rabid, apoplectic, hysterical, and vicious than the wonderful, highly educated, morally superior liberal Democrats going after Trump. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe. to this channel. If you want to read my writing in The Hill, the Huffington Post, Salon, the Jerusalem Post, the Federalist, and other publications, go to hagoodman.com. My new Patreons, thank you. Patreons below, people. Thank you. My super thanks is below. Become a member. And to my members, thank you. And to the people who've been here for years and years,